Today we're going to be talking about the NECA Godzilla 1984 or 5 Mark I figure, as well as his sibling release, the Mark II version, and the somewhat related third cousin NECA NES Godzilla Monster of Monsters variant. And I bet we're all so very fucking excited.
ShinRobjira.
Actually, before I get into this, I have to correct a wrong that I did so wrong beforehand. His hand fell off. A fairly common occurrence. The last 3 episodes of NECAthon, I absolutely neglected to mention that some of these figures came in stylized poster art boxes. Here we have the retooling of 84/85, well technically 85, and here we have the box for the NES Godzilla, and these are both really nice looking boxes. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe NES Godzilla was the first Godzilla release from NECA to get a stylized box, and they did a pretty damn good job with it. While the latter of the 2 boxes is definitely the better looking one, I gotta give NECA credit. They made these boxes so damn well that they felt like accessories in and of themselves. I do have to admit though, I am a bit of a sucker for the NES Godzilla box because, you know, you got the map from the game over here, you got the background from one of the levels that you play. This is just like a cool little inclusion for that. 85 on the other hand was just... oh man, every time I look at the inside of this box, which isn't very frequently since I just got these out of storage for these videos, man, it's just nostalgic in a weird way. It makes me want to go into the city and spend $5 on a slice of pizza, not actual pricing. And I gotta show some love to the other boxes that I missed prior. Unfortunately, this is the only 1954, well technically 56 box that I have, because I was part of the enigma of people who actually got the Retooled 54 in the original blister pack packaging. Yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but it's a thing. The 56 box is just so cool. They encapsulate that of the poster so very well here. And I do have the stand. It's on a shelf over here, and I don't feel like moving it, so use your imagination.
Chickens!
Unfortunately, a lot of the older releases I have, I never really went about getting any of their reissues with all the cool boxes and such, so there is going to be a point in this series where I just don't have boxes to show. I didn't throw any of these boxes out. They keep the figures nice and safe if I ever have to move them or just move house ever again. Please never again. So if you're a tad bit confused as to why some videos will have boxes and others won't, that is why. And yes, I know, that is a missed opportunity on my part. Believe me, I kick myself in the keister every time I think about it, which since starting up this series has been pretty frequent, honestly. But yeah, look at that. That's awesome. Good stuff, NECA. Good stuff. Now we can officially kill off the positivity that I am feeling right now to talk about the Mark I 84. Now, are there any OGs out there? Does anybody remember what this guy originally looked like? Do you remember the bubbling feeling of anticipation and hype, and then just seeing this?
My goat fell out the mountain, help me!
I mean, I was still hyped for it because it looked fucking atrocious and I wanted it so badly. Yeah, the original release of 84/85 over here can actually be considered a retooling for a figure that never came out. And yet somehow... I know what some of you might be thinking. This is fixed, and yeah, it is. It's just, you know, when we get to the legs, things are a little on the questionable side. I don't mind the addition of blue hues on this guy's skin. It is a bit on the weird side, and in comparison to how the retooled look, I mean... yeah. The eyes are properly lazy, the teeth are all coffee stained to heck, some more than others. The inside of the mouth is really nice. I like that you can actually differentiate the tongue from the floor of his mouth. And then just overall, the detail work that went into this guy is pretty good, even considering, you know, just how much of a retool he actually is. I believe it was mostly just the head, but oh boy. Oh dear. Ah, fuck. Yeah, these dorsal fins, bruv. Not only do they look mid, they're also skinnier than that of a Cheez-It. The detail on them, it's okay. A bit, yeah. I'm sorry. Before I move on over into a better looking figure, as you can see, there's going to be more of those blue hues. They're really not just on the feet and legs, although they feel most prominent there. They're all over, it's all over the dorsal fins, I should say. And it's on the body, it's on the neck, it's on the shoulders, it's on the arms, it's all there. I don't mind how the toes look. I don't mind how the claws look. I don't mind how the teeth look. It's just overall, it's, yeah, pretty middling. Paint on this guy is gonna get a half a star, yeah. Details will get a solid star, but I'm introducing this now just because I know it's going to come up a little bit further down the line. In terms of likeness, recreation, it's like half and half, so I'm gonna give it like half an X. It's like half a star, but somewhat leaning more towards an X, but not a full-on X, because they did fix him up, it's just... Are these teeth not even fully painted? Just so there aren't any questions in the comments, this is what I was talking about. I thought the teeth were only painted at the tip, but that darker color you're seeing is actually intentional. Doesn't really look all that good, but at least they're painted somewhat. In fact, the entirety of the lower jaw looks kind of messy and almost half unpainted. You know what? We're done. Retool time. Retool time. Retool time. Ah, yes. That's much better. The eyes are a lot less muddy, the brown paint is very much visible, the teeth are indeed fully painted with gums and lip paint as well. Not a little bit, not halfway, not fully neat or anything like that, but a commendable fix nonetheless. No presence of that bluish green paint. In fact, what I really see here is going to be more of a dustier black with some gloss in between the folds of his skin over here. Don't know why that's present, but I'm really not questioning why it is because I think it looks pretty damn good. And obviously we're going to get some new paint for the toes and the claws, of course. And for the most part, when it comes to the body, everything remains unchanged. It just has better paint and doesn't look as, I guess cheap would be the right word? Yeah, 84, 94 kind of have like a cheap-ish looking vibe to them. But where this gentleman absolutely excelled the best is going to be in the dorsal fin area, where the dorsal fins are properly painted, detailed, don't look like absolute crap, and I gotta give NECA this. This is one of the areas that I praised the most in my original review of this guy, and that has not changed, not even in the slightest. This looks so dang good. The tail as well. I feel like the tail got retooled in terms of the dorsal fins. I mean, why am I talking in possibilities? Let's just show it. Dear Lord. Yeah, the retool is way better. Jeez, crow. I do remember seeing a lot of people wishing that NECA had just redone the legs as well, because we knew it wasn't going to be happening with the tail for a bit, even though we all kind of really wanted it to. It's just these legs really do feel like the main thing holding the figure back a ton. All I'm saying is, if I can live with 54 and calling the retool of 54 one of the better NECA Godzilla figures, and he still had that spindly little tail, I would have communicated the exact same for this thing, because the legs are definitely a deterrent, yes. And just because I'm that asshole, god damn, god fucking damn, just ayo. I swear I'm not trying to artificially lengthen this video, believe me, I want to be done with this one. But since I have it, maybe some new shins and feet really would have brought this guy together. I feel like the thighs are okay. My guy's got the thick thunder thighs and then the skinny calves with some pretty pathetic looking feet. While Bandai Boy over here has just got the drumsticks, bro. Thick kaiju thighs saving lives and yeah. The dorsal fins and the heads, I think, are definitely on par, though. For sure, for sure. So as far as the retool gentleman goes, a solid star in terms of paint, a solid star in terms of detail, likeness grading a little bit better. Half a star. I'll give this guy a half a star. Now, NES Godzilla. Now, forgive me for not remembering the release month and year of this guy, but I'll just put it like this. This guy felt like an apology letter, because I'm pretty sure we got 84 in the fall and then this guy in the spring? Within a few months of each other, I think? I could be wrong. But the weight wasn't all of that taxing. We got this thing pretty quickly, and it feels like the overall genome of NECA's 85 figure definitely got redemption here. Because even though it's not accurate to how Godzilla looks in the game, since the representation of Godzilla was completely different in the game as well, that don't look like 84. They definitely got the spines right though, that's for damn sure. But anyway, this is something that NECA did quite a bit back in the day. I'm not sure if this is something that they're still doing, but the very two-toned color palette, the bitty looking paints on the figure, it's just from an aesthetic view, this is very cool. I really like this, and I wish there was more like this from NECA. In terms of Godzilla, at least. I know they did a crap ton of these. Yeah, NES to SNES recolorings of specific characters were always really cool to see, and to see NECA kind of just turn them into figures was something that I was hoping they would do a little bit more of, despite there not being too much like this in Godzilla's case. The dorsal fins are completely outfitted with this very bit-looking paint job. I feel the center row was the row that got the most work done. Again, why am I assuming when I can just show it? Yeah, I think it's mostly just the center row. Because as you can see, the side rows over here are still pretty thin. But, oh man, the presentation, the paint, it's so friggin' good, dude. It was this release, and I believe the Atomic Blast release of GMK, that really showcased that NECA could get really wild with their paint jobs and totally pull it off. It's a shame because I doubt we'd ever see something this drastic from that of SH Monstars, but could you imagine? And look at those piercing red eyes. Oh, one of my favorite inclusions. He's just a very cool and weird looking release. And for anybody wondering, this is the original release of NES Godzilla. As you can see, he doesn't have hinges on his wrists. It's still just a ball joint that could go all the way around. I really don't want to stop talking about this thing because its paint job is just mesmerizing, and I love these overly huge dorsal fins. I really do. I love how they look, I love their paint job, I love the details on them. NECA seriously could have released 4 more color variants of this and I would have bought all of them because again, these dorsal fins, the paint job, awesome. So from his original release to this guy right here, this figure already got retooled twice. While it certainly isn't much in regards to this guy, since it's just the dorsal fins for the most part, that is pretty unfortunate, but we did get some good figures out of it, so I can't complain. I just really love how this paint job looks on this figure. Look at the snarl in his face, the glazed over look in his eye, all of the crazy little details and paint choices that they took with the head. The teeth are all white, they have this cool little outline look to them. The tongue is nice and tonguey and somewhat glossy. Seriously, this is just awesome, and it really makes me wish NECA just said screw it and did NES repaints of all of their Godzilla figures. That would have been awesome. I would have bought them all. Yep. Like the teeth, the toes are going to be mostly white with different colors on them depending on where you look. Same for the claws over here. And just overall, this guy, he's awesome. I love him. NES Goji's going to get a solid star in terms of paint, a solid star in terms of detail, a solid X for not being a proper representation of the character. A different Godzilla in the game, I'm sorry. And hopefully I don't upset anybody with saying this. But my personal favorite release of 84-85 is actually going to be the NES variant. He's technically not 84. He doesn't look anything like he would in a movie. And I think that's essentially why I like this one so much. It's just so different. It really showcased NECA's ability to be strange and weird with their designs and paint jobs. My, how times have changed. Bet you thought I was gonna pick the Retool, huh? Anyway, NES Godzilla's moving on over to the Articulation round, which is where all the favorites go in this series. And since he's not the Mark II version of the figure, all the articulation's the same. I actually think the only thing different with the Mark II version is the hinge at the wrist. Totally forgot the Retool technically counts as a Mark II, so yeah, there you go. Hinges, that's pretty much it. Mouth can open and close like so. Head can look up that far, and let's make sure this doesn't move, and down about that far. Yes. Full swivelier at the head. Ball joint at the base of the neck over here, so he can look somewhat down more with the combination of the ball joint up here. Can swivel at the neck as well fairly easily. Arm game wise, he can bring his arms out like this, showcasing the two-tone color paint job over here. Full swivel at the shoulder. Full swivel at the elbow over here. Gonna get a nice little bend out and bend in. Ball joint at the wrist over here for a full swivel. Can move up and down that far. Yikes. Is it like that on the other side? I know it can swivel, but can it actually? Yeah, a little bit. Nothing crazy. Really missing that hinge. As far as the torso goes, I could never get him to really look down at the torso, as you can see. It's more so just, oh yeah, look at that. He can swivel. They're all like that, really. Oh, he can kind of rock from side to side, so that's nice. And make a full rotation at the thighs over here. I don't know why these are on an angle like this. Nice bend at the knee. Now let's break his knee. Full-ish swivel. Okay, let's try over here. Nope, that ain't moving. Okay, we're gonna... I will not be... Fucking Christ. Movement at the knee. Bit of a pivot at the ankle over here. One of the better pivots we've seen so far. And we'll get a full rotation. We're gonna get some ball joints at the tail over here, although the movement is pretty shit over here. At least over here it's pretty good. Like towards his ass. And then we're gonna get a ball joint over here with the best movement of the tail, including the stiffest bendy wire I think I have on a NECA Godzilla figure. Better stiff than broke, I'd say. A little bit of the same here, friends and neighbors. I'm gonna give Articulation a solid star. I do wish it was a bit more fluid. And now we can move on over into size comparisons. A slight hiccup in the NECA line, I do feel. I would definitely feel confident in saying once again that this is probably NECA's weakest release yet. There's good things about it, there's things about it, there's questionable things about it as well. But at the time, especially for myself getting back into the collecting world, having an 84/85 figure was actually quite the exciting time. And at that point, I really wasn't all that adept in Godzilla 1984-5 lore. I mean, I used Google. I saw that this guy didn't look how he was supposed to, but just having the presence on my shelves was enough for me. But now that I have more than enough, we really could have used a delay on this guy, like more of a delay than we actually got, I think. So I've said my piece. I prefer this guy over the other two, for sure. I will say though, obviously, when it comes to a more screen-accurate looking figure, that goes to the retooled version, just mwah. And if you ever come across the original release, then you have the original release. I have been ShinRobjira. I do so hope all of you enjoyed. Please check out my social media and my Patreon, where you'll be getting these videos a week or some days early. Get at it. Just $1 a month. That's all you need. And when next we meet, I have no idea. As of right now, it is March 20th. At the end of this week, all the new Movie Monster stuff comes out. You might see that. You might see the Robot Damashi Ava Unit 1. Who knows? I don't even know. But I'll see you all next time.